For such a massive, well-established franchise, Warhammer merch can be a little bit hit or miss. For every awesome product, like these beautifully presented fine art prints, these funky Christmas jumpers, or the sensational leggings, there's a lot of very boring, generic junk that, if I'm being honest, doesn't really do the captivating world of Warhammer justice. You're watching Midwinter Minis. My name's Guy, and I've been a Warhammer fan for almost 30 years. And I want to tell you about all the Warhammer merch that I want to see that doesn't currently exist. Mostly because I want to softly encourage Games Workshop to actually make this stuff so I can buy it, but also because we are moving the Midwinter Mini studio right now, and I don't currently have my painting area set up, so let's just get on with the list, shall we? Number 1, Nerf Guns. I've been saying this for years, it just seems so obvious. Nerf Guns already have massive, over-the-top, cool designs that would lend themselves really well to weapons from Warhammer 40k. Loads of people have already customized existing models, especially the Strife, into bolters, but I reckon having a dedicated range of Warhammer 40k Nerf Guns would basically be a money printing machine for Hasbro and Games Workshop. Warhammer fans would probably buy them just to paint them and hang on their walls, hobbyist parents would buy them for their kids, and I'm pretty sure that cosplayers would lose their minds for them. Nerf have collaborated before with the likes of Minecraft, Fortnite and Dino Squad, so why not Warhammer? Number 2, Plushies. Yeah, I know, they've already made a few before. That cute little Nurgling, the adorable Griffhound, and that poor old Christmas squig that got recalled because it fell to bits. But come on guys, I just want to see a Space Marine cuddly toy, is that so much to ask? Who doesn't want a squishy little dreadnought to snuggle up to, or a sweet little Gene Stealer giving you 4-armed hugs? Now if you can have a squishy Darth Vader, a Lord of the Rings Build-A-Bear, or a Geralt plush, you can bloody well have a soft toy Captain Titus, that's all I'm saying. Number 3, Lego. Again, it's just too obvious. This is the perfect crossover, and looking around at all the wild things that people have already made with no official kits is incredible. I mean, in terms of the audiences for Lego and Warhammer, the Venn diagram is just a circle. There's already awesome, although very unofficial, third-party compatible products out there if you know where to look, but there's just so much scope for cool crossover kits. Aside from the obvious stuff like minifigs, you could have full-scale posable models like my LEGO Optimus Prime. Technics versions of iconic 40k vehicles like Land Raiders and Rhinos. And even if we wanted to get into giant Star Wars and Harry Potter deluxe kit territory, you could have 3D recreations of famous art pieces like the Black Templars Codex cover or the Slaying of Sanguinius. Now, even though I think this is the most exciting thing on the list, for me at least, it's the one that I think Games Workshop are probably least likely to go for, as I think bizarrely they probably consider LEGO to be a rival miniatures company and would worry that people would spend their money on LEGO instead of GW's own plastic minis. But a boy can dream. Number 4, Jigsaw puzzles. With so many awe-inspiring iconic bits of Warhammer artwork from the 80s, 90s, noughties, 2010s and 2020s to choose from, it just seems bonkers to me that we don't already have a range of official Warhammer Jigsaw puzzles. It's a classic solitary, relaxing pastime, and you can even get the family involved too. It would be an absolute no-brainer of a Christmas present or birthday gift to get the Warhammer fan that you're not sure what minis or paints they want or need. Come on GW, make it happen. Number 5, bags. Now, let's be honest here, Warhammer is one of the most male-heavy hobbies out there alongside Magic the Gathering, Model Rail and War Reenactment, but just because the Warhammer community is a bit of a sausage fest, it doesn't mean we don't want nice bags. We just don't want the ultra generic school bag backpack things you currently sell. Give us faux military satchels that look like they're from a guard regiment, glow-in-the-dark neon-line Necron sports bags, distressed Gene Stealer cult tool bags, or, if you really want to blow our minds, a Space Marine Power Pack camping backpack would make our collective dreams come true. Number 6, better women's clothes. For a couple of years, Games Workshop had it nailed with their amazing printed leggings and dresses, but Wild Bangarang, the company that made those under license, went bust in 2021, and since then, it's basically just been skinny fit t-shirts and that's your lot. Now, it would obviously be great to have those leggings and dresses back, but surely Games Workshop can do more. Maybe they're just a little bit scared of offering the wrong products, but let other companies do the market research for you. The best-selling women's clothes on the Disney store are all big, comfy things: Spirit jerseys, joggers, and hoodie dresses. That would be an easy place to start. Number 7, wallets. I mean, wallets are surely a given, right? I mean, I know they've sold a couple before, but I'd kind of like to buy a wallet that won't punch a hole in my skin or rip my jeans, please. A nice little leather number with an embossed logo or something? I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Number 8, jewelry. Yeah, I mean, while we're on the topic of accessories, jewelry would make easy gifts and impulse buys. Chains, rings, maybe even watches. Now, as much as I love big gaudy goth rings, I know that's not everyone's bag. And while Warhammer isn't known for its subtlety, I reckon some nice refined accessories would go down pretty well, especially around Christmas time or birthdays. Number 9, kids' costumes. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan and you want to get a fun costume for your kids' party or Halloween, you are spoiled for choice. Baby Yoda, Mini Boba, Tiny Trooper, Juvenile Jedi, Little Rey, Junior Jar Jar. Oh, no, forget about that one. Anyway, how about all those really cute, cool, grimdark Warhammer costumes? No, there's none. Apart from those lucky little kids whose parents are obviously amazing cosplay costume makers. Come on, G-dubs. There's a ton of Warhammer things that would make really cute costumes, but even just a polyester Space Marine suit and a plastic mask would be better than nothing, which is what we currently have. Number 10, menswear. Now don't get me wrong, there are a few genuinely good, fun t-shirt designs on the Warhammer web store, but an awful lot of them look like someone just imported a scanned picture to a make-your-own t-shirt website, hit the default alignment button and called it a day. How about some interesting menswear? Printed ties are an easy option for quick gift ideas. Cooler t-shirts could go a long way. Snazzy all-over print numbers, maybe even some long-sleeved options. Or how about some cool hoodies? Or maybe a jacket or two that don't make you look like you've got some interesting political opinions. Just be careful about matching up the old Imperial Aquila logo with leather in the future. Number 11, perfume. Now before you start going, "Oh guy, don't be ridiculous, Games Workshop are never gonna make perfumes." If I'd have told you a couple of years ago that they would release a full range of scented candles, you'd have laughed until your eyes bled. But oh, would you look at that? How the turntables have turntabled. Now seriously now, if they released a pretty generic man scent just before Christmas called something like Astartes or Heresy, it would sell out before it even hit the shelves. Don't even pretend you wouldn't buy it. Number 12, displays and sculptures. Getting a little bit fancier and pricier with the suggestions now. Surely there's a market for large-scale Warhammer sculptures and display pieces. Let me show you what I mean. There's this anime franchise I like called The Guyver. I'm a big fan of it. It's an ultra-violent sci-fi romp about an alien bioweapon that fuses with a schoolboy and the ensuing chaos. But that's not what's important here. The Guyver was never that big. A few OVAs and some interesting B-movies, but nothing new for almost 20 years. But recently, Prime 1 Studio have been putting out huge Guyver sculptures that weigh 30 kilograms, stand almost a meter tall, and sell for between $300 and $1,200. And guess what? Sold out. Sold out. Sold out. Sold out. They're not small runs either. They made 750 of the main character, and they sold out within days. Surely there's tons of people who would want collectible sculptures of their favourite Warhammer characters. Space Marine Primarchs, Horus, Ghazghkull, Abaddon, Farsight? You get the idea. Number 13, replica weapons. Sticking with the higher price tag stuff for a second, I reckon there is 100% a market for replica Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy weaponry. Back in 2003, when I first moved to Edinburgh, Scotland, one of my first jobs was with the tourist tat shops on the Royal Mile. I used to sell kilts, figurines, jewellery, and replica weapons. Celtic daggers, claymores, and targes, those little round shields. But this was 2003, Return of the King was still in cinemas, and people were Lord of the Rings crazy. We sold tons of elven daggers, Uruk-hai scimitars, and hobbit blades. Now I'm not saying that Warhammer is anywhere near the size of franchise that Lord of the Rings is, for now at least, but surely there's a market there. Just ignoring 40k for a second and focusing on fantasy or Age of Sigmar, you could have little Skaven daggers, gnarly looking plague swords, ornate Fire Slayer axes, or a Skink's javelin. There's such a lot of potential, and the only people capitalizing on it right now are Etsy sellers. Now from the expensive stuff to the dirt cheap. Number 14, bumper stickers. My other ride is a Land Raider. Red ones go faster. Do you follow the Codex Astartes this closely? Honk for heresy! Need I say more? Finally, I'd love to see a continuation of their recent board game crossovers. I've been loving Warhammer Risk and Warhammer Monopoly, but there's two really obvious board games I reckon would work well when combined with the Warhammer IP. First, Pandemic. Pandemic's a great game anyway, which has already seen some fun crossovers like Cthulhu, but how cool would a Nurgle infestation version be? Or maybe using the pre-existing 4 disease mechanic of the game, you could be trying to stop the 4 different Chaos Gods, Nurgle, Khorne, Slanesh, and Tzeentch, from taking over a planet or a star system. It almost writes itself. The other super obvious choice is the oldest wargame that people still play, chess. They've already made a video game version, so why not make a little stylized set of Space Marines versus Orcs, or Space Marines versus Necrons? I mean, it's going to have Space Marines anyway, so why not double down and have a Horus Heresy version of Space Marines versus Space Marines? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure I've missed tons of things that they could be making, and I've definitely looked at this through the eyes of a Warhammer 40k fan. I bet there's loads of Age of Sigmar and fantasy stuff that I am totally ignoring. Also, it would be silly of me not to mention that we've just added pre-orders for 2 new art prints on the Midwinter Minis merch store. First, this awesome A3 art print illustration of Hattie's Great Unclean Boogie reimagined by Remouse. There'll be just 100 of these, each one signed by Hattie, and we've also added pre-orders for this epic Midwinter Minis Warlord Titan artwork created by Artists Empire. There's 2 versions of this, a standard A3 print and a deluxe numbered and signed Giclée print, which also includes 3 replica cardstock sheets of the hand-drawn flags I created for the Titan. These are limited to 100 though, and once they're gone, they're gone. And that's it for now. I'll catch you next time when I'll be taking my new painting setup for a whirl and showing you how to paint the hottest Space Marines of them all, the Salamanders. Thanks for watching, bye for now.